What's going on YouTube? So today I wanted to talk to you about three things that I learned from one of the first businesses I started. I am here in Cairns for the weekend. Today's Thursday. I'm here for 4 days. I'm here for a family wedding, but I thought while I'm here, I'll get some videos out to you guys as well. So today I wanted to talk to you about the three uh, major things I think that I've learned and I think I would continue to use for my future businesses, and what I believe actually got me to succeed in one of the businesses that I built the revenue over six figures, and I in fact sold the business for about six figures as well. So uh, let's get the video started. So tip number one is, I think one of the key things and the most successful thing I did was strike while the iron's hot, or as Jim Rohn puts it, make sure you take action when the emotions are strong and the idea is hot, because when that happens, and there are a few other ways a lot of people say these things. There's Steve Ramsey saying, which is, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you change your life. And I think it was the same thing for me in 2017. I went in my opinion, I went to probably the highest place I could get to, being the national operations manager for a freight forwarding company in that particular company. After moving over a couple of companies, I realized that I no longer actually enjoyed what I was doing. So I changed it to doing my own thing, and that was on a Friday evening. It was probably Friday afternoon. It was 2 o'clock. I was in the office, and I had about 180 emails to go through. I had containers to chase up, and I realized that, man, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and also I realized that that was not for me. And what actually flicked me over was the fact that I went to a cafe on the Saturday morning, and I was sitting around, and I was like, you know what? I would really enjoy running a cafe. I would really enjoy being behind a coffee machine making coffees, because that was something I was really enjoying doing at home, making my own coffees in the mornings. Like, it was kind of like a ritual for every morning that I used to do. So I think that is the key point. When you get to that point where you feel like you are just sick and tired of being sick and tired, take action. Strike while the idea is hot and the emotions are strong, because you have more chances of going through that barrier of all the issues that you face, because you really want it to happen. That is number one. Number two was putting a minimum viable product, or an MVP, into the market. This is the term MVP is mainly used in software, but I do hear it now in businesses as well. I believe putting out a minimum viable product to test out the market is the best way to test out whether you're going to succeed with your idea, rather than, like, I have heard of different business owners throwing in, $250,000, $500,000 in cafes, and they have failed. Come COVID time, there was so many cafes for sale, so many coffee machines, and some of these people are paying outlandish amounts. I cannot believe how much they pay for a coffee machine. Now, I am all up for a good, great coffee. Just a side note. However, man, like $50,000 for a coffee machine, I do not believe that makes that much of a superior difference to a coffee machine that's worth between 7.5 to 15 grand. In my personal opinion, I do not believe that. So be mindful of how you spend the money. Like, when I started off with a coffee trailer, and the whole outlay for the whole coffee trailer was less than 20 grand, and that was, I had 12 grand of savings, and the rest of the 8 grand I borrowed from a credit card, and I just got through with it. And I put the coffee trailer, I set it up, and I ran it. And the first day of trade was $48. 4 years down the track, it was reaching 200,000 a year in revenue, and I sold the business. I sold the business for $130,000 afterwards, and it only took me 4 years. So that's the second point. Minimum viable product. Put a product and idea to the market, see whether it works before you spend ridiculous amounts of money. And I would say the third key point is I have taken it from a book that I read in 2014 called Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco, if is the author. And he talks about what's called the Sense Commandments. So that's an acronym. So Sense, CENTS, is the Sense Commandments, and that is C is for control, E is for entry, N is for need, T is for time, and S is for scale. So that is sense. So if you Google Sense Commandments, you can get more information about it. Pretty much when you're running a business, I believe using those acronyms or those ideas. So sense, control. Do you have full control of the business? Entry, what is the barrier to entry? If you start a business, can other people start that business as well? Like, so if you start a cafe, nothing's stopping you from opening a cafe next door. Whereas when I started my coffee trailer, there was nothing around the probably a 15-kilometer radius, and it was going to be like that for like at least I would say I've sold it last year, but I would say for another 5 years there's not going to be any developments, so no one can enter there. So there was a barrier to entry. And there was need for good coffee. So when I started the business, everyone welcomed it because there was a massive need for good coffee. So it was control, entry, need, and the time. Now that is where I think my oversight was, because the time I spent in the business meant that I couldn't spend time on the business, because I was up at 3 o'clock. The coffee trailer started at 4:30, and by the time it was like midday, say 2 p.m., I was knackered. Like, I could not do anything else, especially because your circadian rhythms change. Because on the weekends I used to get up at around 6 o'clock instead of 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I believe, in my personal opinion, for my body, between 2 and 4 is where my deep sleep happens. So breaking that deep sleep actually caused a lot of issues for me, and I was just constantly feeling tired. So I think that the time, when I start my next business, I think I would look at it in different ways, see whether I can get different employees or better ways to actually implement the business. So yeah, that's time. So it's CENT, which is time, and then S is scale. Now with the coffee trailers, there was the opportunity to scale it. I could put multiple coffee trailers and get other operators to run it, but I didn't pursue that because that was not something for me. But at the time when I did start the trailer, I was trying to, the plan was to run about 5 coffee trailers in the area. So that is scale. So when I think using those key points, which are CENTS, control, entry, need, time, scale, I believe that you can, when you start a business, that will be extremely helpful. Hopefully these 3 key points will help you if you're trying to start a business, or you are actually in a business. These things actually help me immensely, so I hope this helps you. Just to sum up, the key 3 points were: number 1 was strike while the iron's hot, or when the emotions are strong and the idea is hot, or like Steve Ramsey says, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Number 2, put MVP, a minimum viable product, into the market, see how the customers respond to it, and then you can tweak it rather than spending a lot of money and it turning out to be a really bad idea. Number 3 is Sense Commandments from the book Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. which is control, entry, need, time, and scale. Hope this video was helpful for you. If you did, I would love a like and a subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, guys.